history being made today.
Lionel Messi has become the all-time leading men's World Cup goal scorer.
Getting the all-time records from Miroslav Klose.
Lionel Messi!
On the 22nd of June, 2026, in a packed stadium under the lights of the North American summer, Lionel Messi scored his 18th goal at a FIFA World Cup.
Lionel Messi!
And in that single moment, football's most sacred statistical record, one that had stood untouched for 2 decades, was finally, unmistakably shattered. This is the story of the greatest goal-scoring achievement in the history of the World Cup.
Messi!
And it isn't over yet. Cast your mind back. Miroslav Klose, the German striker who played with relentless efficiency across 4 World Cups, 2002, 2006, 2010, and 2014.
Miroslav Klose makes no mistake!
A man who was never the most glamorous player on the pitch, never the one on the poster, but who had a gift for being in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. By the time he lifted his boots off the World Cup stage after Germany's famous 2014 triumph, he had scored 16 goals. 16. A number that felt untouchable, a number that belonged to him and him alone for over a decade. Then came Mbappé. And then came Messi. And now the record belongs to neither Klose nor Ronaldo nor anyone you might have guessed. It belongs to Lionel Messi, and it sits at 18. Let's rewind to June 22nd, because what happened that night was something that football fans will be telling their grandchildren about. Argentina took on Austria in their second group stage match of the 2026 World Cup. The game was tight. Austria, organized and disciplined, weren't going to make it easy. But then, in the second half, Messi got the ball in his favorite pocket.
He has to.
That left foot space between the lines where he has tormented defenders for 2 decades. And he drove it home. 17 World Cup goals. He had equaled Klose. The stadium erupted, but Messi wasn't done. In the dying minutes, with Argentina already leading with the record already equaled, he found the net again. 18 goals. And just like that, history was rewritten. Not quietly, not by default, but by the greatest footballer who has ever lived, doing what he has always done, scoring when it matters most, in the tournament that matters most, on the biggest stage on earth. Now here's what makes this even more astonishing. People forget that Lionel Messi didn't start brilliantly at World Cups. His first tournament in 2006, he was a 20-year-old substitute, a glimpse of the future, but not yet the main event.
Is this another goal? Of course it is.
In 2010, he carried Argentina on his back and couldn't score a single knockout stage goal, the weight of a nation crushing even him. In 2014, he was brilliant, magical, producing moments of genius that somehow weren't enough to seal Argentina's triumph in the final. And then there was the darkness. 4 years later, in Russia, Argentina nearly collapsed. They scraped through the group stage. They went out in the round of 16 to France, humbled by a teenage Kylian Mbappé. And people began to whisper, is this it? Has the greatest player of all time peaked without the one medal that truly mattered? What followed was one of the greatest stories in the history of sport. Qatar 2022, the final against France. Messi producing a performance for the ages, scoring twice in the final, lifting the trophy. Standing in that golden robe at the peak of world football, finally, undeniably, the world champion. It felt like the ending.
The world champions are Argentina.
It felt like the perfect full stop on the greatest career football has ever seen. But Messi wasn't finished writing. Here he is in the summer of 2026, 38 years old. Let that number sink in. 38, playing in his 5th World Cup. Not as a luxury, not as a farewell tour, but as Argentina's captain, talisman, and most dangerous attacker. While pundits debated whether he should even be in the squad, he turned up to North America and started breaking records before most teams had even found their rhythm. And now, 18 World Cup goals, 2 more than Klose, 1 more than Brazil legend Marta's record across both men's and women's football. The all-time, across-the-board, untouchable record. Messi owns it. But here's where the story gets even more electric. Because there is a 27-year-old Frenchman, the best player of his generation, arguably the best in the world right now, who is watching these numbers with very personal interest. Kylian Mbappé currently sits on 16 World Cup goals in just 3 tournaments. He is already tied with Miroslav Klose. He is 2 behind Messi, and France still have games to play, which means the most extraordinary record race in football history is not over. It is still alive, and whether Mbappé can catch the man he both idolizes and rivals is now the defining question of this World Cup. Think about what Mbappé has done to get here. He burst onto the scene in Russia 2018 as a 19-year-old, electric and unstoppable, helping France lift the trophy and becoming only the 2nd teenager to score in a World Cup final. He was devastating in Qatar 2022, scoring a hat-trick in the final, a hat-trick, and still losing, simply because on that particular night, Messi was playing on a different planet. And now, in 2026, he is here again, leading France with a brace in the group stage victory over Iraq, adding to his brace against Senegal, relentlessly, efficiently, brilliantly. There's a narrative here that goes beyond statistics. Messi and Mbappé are connected by football in a way that transcends the club rivalry between Paris Saint-Germain, beyond the 2022 final, beyond any single match. They are the 2 poles of the modern game. One, the greatest of all time, heading into the final chapter. The other, the heir apparent, in his absolute prime. And right now, in real time, they are competing in the same World Cup, chasing the same record, rewriting the same history simultaneously. Football has never seen anything quite like it. Now, some will say statistics don't tell the whole story, and they are right. Messi's goals don't fully capture the passes that unlocked defenses, the dribbles that left defenders on the floor, the vision that no camera angle could quite do justice to. But records matter in sport. They are the language we use to measure greatness across generations, across eras, across continents. And when Messi added that 18th goal against Austria, he wasn't just crossing a statistical threshold, he was making an argument, the final, definitive, unassailable argument, for his place not just in football, but in the entire history of sport. Pelé is gone. Maradona is gone. Ronaldo scored his records in league football and international competition, but not here, not at the World Cup, the only tournament that truly judges a player against the entire world at the very same time. Messi chose the hardest stage. He came back at 38 when he could have rested on his laurels, and he broke the record that nobody expected anyone to break. As this World Cup continues, all eyes will now shift between 2 stories. Argentina. Can Messi add a 2nd World Cup winner's medal to his collection and go out on the most extraordinary final note in the history of the game? And France. Can Mbappé chip away at those 2 goals, surpass Messi's record, and begin writing his own legend for the ages? Either way, what is happening right now at the 2026 FIFA World Cup is something that no football fan should look away from. Records are being broken. History is being made. The greatest player of all time is still scoring, and the greatest player of the next generation is right behind him. You are watching history in real time. Don't blink. If you want to stay right on top of every twist, every goal, every defining moment of this World Cup, hit subscribe and make sure the bell is on. Because this tournament has barely started, and something tells me the biggest moments are still to come.